Hello everyone. Very sorry I had to cancel class yesterday. Had a very tense moment, very anxiety inducing chain of events yesterday with my son who had a medical emergency at school. He had an asthma attack and had to be taken to the ER. So it was just a lot happening. He is fine today, like definitely rested a lot today and just really took it easy, just to kind of work through his own anxiety of just going through that experience. But yes, nonetheless, he is definitely okay now. So, so I'm just had to shift gears a bit. So I know this message is coming out very, very late again, because it was just so behind, just really had to take a pause for a moment just to kind of recalibrate and get back on track. So one of the things that I definitely wanted to discuss yesterday in class was the upcoming case conceptualization assignment that is coming up. Is it next Sunday? I definitely have to check the date, maybe next Sunday. That assignment is coming up. If you need extra time, definitely no worries at all. Just email me and let me know that you just need to take a little bit more time to complete the assignment, which I'm totally fine with. I am going to walk through the structure of the assignment. Hopefully that definitely helps to manage any sort of like looming thoughts or concern or worry, angst around that assignment that's coming up. So with the case conceptualization, as we started talking about in our last class, the case conceptualizations gives you an opportunity to view the client through the lens of a particular theory or model that you are using. So in this particular case, we are going to be focused on collaborative therapy. So with collaborative therapy, you're creating a overall synopsis, you're creating a story that helps the viewer, the supervisor, or the person that you're presenting the case to obtain a better information of the client that you are working with, using all of the skills, interventions, language that goes along with being a collaborative therapist. So I'm also going to post an outline, like a sample outline of how to construct the case conceptualization. And so within the outline for collaborative therapy, which is also, you'll find the rubrics, and I'll show you where to find all those documents in 1 second. So within collaborative therapy, we know that the therapist is working along with the client. As Harlan referred to it as like walking alongside, communicating with your client, and you're really creating a dialogue, a back and forth communication style with your client to help them understand more of what they want long term or anything that they might want to change. All of that information is going to come from the client. It's not coming from you as the therapist. You're just facilitating space and opportunity for these conversations and for their natural insight and for their own self-awareness to be further developed, to kind of expand and take on a new perspective. And you're allowing that to happen just within the natural progression of the conversation. So you're not guiding per se, you're not directing. So the therapeutic stance is very neutral, but it's very much conversational and collaborative. You're co-constructing language with your client as a collaborative therapist. And so you're also going to talk about in your case conceptualization the goals of a collaborative therapist, which is based on building a strong therapeutic relationship. It's more about empowering the client to take control of their lives however they deem necessary or however they see fit. You're also creating an opportunity for the client to be more authentic and to have full autonomy over their experience, and for them to also be able to execute this sense of self-efficacy. So that's all a part of the collaborative approach. Also within the collaborative approach, we know they were also working through a very loose idea of like a treatment plan or the interventions. Again, because you're responding to what's happening in the moment. So it's not really a prescription, so to speak, that you can kind of plan ahead or say based on these presenting issues or symptoms, here's what I'm going to prescribe for this client to work on within their treatment plan, so to speak. So again, within each session, you're collaborating and you're constantly building out what the plan may be as you continue to move forward with your client. So how that may look as you're doing these, as you're going through the process of the case conceptualization. Again, you're jointly setting goals. You're working with the client to define the experiences that they want to have. You're collaborating with them around like their own sense of meaning making. You're fleshing out ideas, and you're helping them problem solve, and you're building upon mutual solutions together, so to speak. You're also using a strengths-based approach, a lot of validation, incorporating just a lot of feedback. And again, you're also very flexible in your approach as you're working with clients using a collaborative stance. In addition to working through like some of the goals and the interventions that may be used within the collaborative approach, you're also going to describe the presenting problem. Again, just using the client's own language because you're collaborating with them. So you may be thinking about, okay, how do we both see this particular issue? And can you both agree or work together to reframe the problem from the way that it may be initially presented based on the sole view of the client? So collaboratively, you may, co-create a different view of what the problem is or how you may see the problem changing over time. So that may be something that you would include in your as you're writing up your case conceptualization. Maybe you are working together with the client, and again, the view of the problem may shift a bit. So you just want to be able to articulate that in your case conceptualization as you're writing it up. And then you also want to be descriptive about like 2 to 3 interventions that you would use with the case that you are choosing. And again, these interventions should follow the framework of a collaborative therapist. So there's definitely some examples of what that may look like that you can base your case conceptualization on. If you refer back to the text, there's definitely some clear examples of how that, how that conversation is structured around creating interventions or when to interject on certain moments within conversation. That can also be a way of creating an opportunity for change. So you're creating an intervention, you're intervening into the dialogue to create another perspective or to offer another way of viewing the problem, again, as you're having this dialogue back and forth with your client or with the people in the vignette that we will be using. Also within the case conceptualization, you are also going to be taking note and being very mindful of the social cultural considerations. So each of the clients in these vignettes come from different socio-economic backgrounds. There are a lot of different cultural factors. So within those social cultural identities, you want to be able to extract things that you would need to be aware of as the therapist working with, whatever person you select from the vignette. So if it's a Mexican American, what are some things that are common? And again, we don't want to overgeneralize, but again, we just want to be aware of some of the key components of Mexican Americans, younger male presenting boys, some things that they may or may not experience, or some things that they may have been accustomed to growing up in their family of origin. So we just want to take note of those things. So you also can use other sources to kind of figure out what some of those social cultural factors are. so that you can include them in your case conceptualization. You also want to include just your own personal reflections within your critique of the model. So, if you have some things that you take issue with as a collaborative therapist, or maybe you're a person who's like, wow, I really enjoyed learning more about this therapy model. This is something I may use in the future. So you definitely want to talk about those thoughts and ideas that you have around, using this therapy model in the future, and what your thoughts are, what your thoughts are about it right now, learning about it in this class. What else do I want to share? Like I said, I will post the outline just so you all will have it just as a sample and just as a guide to follow, not only for this first case conceptualization, but you definitely can follow the same format for the next models that we will be learning about, which is solution focused and narrative. Yes, so like I said, that's all going to be posted. And so where can you find all of the vignettes? So you can find them, and don't even ask me how they ended up in the syllabus section. I don't know what I was doing the night that I put these in here, but nonetheless, they are all the documents for the case vignettes to choose from are in the section that says syllabus. And so once you click on case vignettes, it should open up almost like a drop down menu, or just that tab should open up, and what you will see there is the first set of vignettes. It will say vignettes for theories, presentations. So within that document, there are 5 separate vignettes that you can select. One for collaborative therapy, and then you may choose another one for solution focus and for narrative. So there are about 8 or 9 total vignettes to choose from. So again, there's a lot. So for the first one, for this one that we're working on now, collaborative therapy, you can definitely select select one case vignette to use as your client that you will be, speaking about as you're working through the written portion of the case conceptualization. So again, the first tab that says vignettes for theories, presentations, within that document, there are a total of 5 different case vignettes. Then right underneath that, you'll see the case conceptualization rubric. So again, it goes through each section of the case conceptualization that I would like you all to touch on and be able to, talk about, flesh out your ideas. So what that looks like and how the grading system works, you will see that within the rubric. And then underneath that, there is another vignette for Maria. And then after that, there is Nathan's case comes up, and then the case of Robert. So then after the case of Robert, there is, you will find the document that says sample outline for case conceptualization. So that is the full outline that I created just to give you all something to work from, almost like a working template, so to speak. So you can definitely use this one for the case conceptualization, and then for the solution focus presentation and narrative presentation, the format will be the exact same. So feel free to just, you'll need to just change up the goals and interventions, and of course the therapeutic stance and the overall foundational premise of solution focused and narrative. However, like I said, the outline definitely can be used for all 3 presentations. So if there are any questions, again, please feel free to text me. Yeah, I think that covers the majority of what I needed to share for the upcoming case presentation. If something is not top of mind for me right now, but definitely it's something that you have been thinking about or you have a question about, again, please text me. I will be available tomorrow and most of the weekend, as my son is just still recovering, so we definitely will be home. So yeah, just, just reach out if something comes to mind that you still need some clarity on, or I can further explain. But I do think that is the gist of the information I need to share about the case presentation. All right, and once again, all the documents are in the tab that says syllabus, and then it says case vignettes. You need to only select one case vignette for each presentation that is due. The first collaborative therapy case conceptualization is written, so everybody is submitting their individually written case conceptualization, and then the solution focused one is a group assignment, and the narrative case conceptualization is done as a group assignment. Okay, and so you're selecting a different vignette for all three case presentations. There should be a different vignette selected. Okie dokie. All right, so take care, and once again, if needed, please just reach out to me via text. I will be available, and I will definitely be sure to respond. Okay, take care, have a great weekend.